logical, right? You want to calculate their financial independence number, their FIN, put together their FNA so they can see the technicality of that, the computerized system we have, and definitely show them the power of compound interest. All, I don't know what it is, but all technical people, they love the calculation of that because it solves a problem in their life. And technical people love solving problems. If not, they love solving their own family's problems. They love being there, right? The one that's not always, that's not ever wrong, but always right. A, action oriented. A people, they're completely opposite from T's. T's want to think about things. A's, they want to get to the point, okay? They want to move faster. You can't be too wordy in your presentation. You got to cut to the chase, right? You want to show your passion. They don't see no passion in you, that you're serious about what you're talking about, that you care about their family. It's over for you. You want to emphasize more money, right? You want to emphasize maybe their financial independence number over time, like what they could have, because action people, they don't like to wait for stuff. So you showing them they got to invest for 30 years straight. No, you got to hone in on that million, couple $1 million they're gonna have, right? Right, Shay? Me and you are S's. I mean, sorry, A's. But freedom. If you're trying to recruit somebody who is an A, no boss. A's are the bosses of the world. They're the business owners of the world. They don't like rules, right? They like to make their own rules. They like to be creative. They like to not be micromanaged. R's are relational people. They love to hear about your stories. R's are where the stories are really going to get them, right? You start sharing your own personal story with an R, man, they feel like they known you for life, right? They start becoming your friend. They start having a lot of fun with you throughout the presentation. They start, when you emphasize how we help people by breaking down a policy, like I just met an R last night on Trishana's team. This girl, she's been with AIG. She just left AIG as of last night. Lincoln Heritage, she got recruited there, and I think American Income Life. She's been through multiple companies, but not any of them really emphasize going through educating the family, which is what an R wants. They don't want just to sell somebody. They don't want to just make money. They want to make sure they can feel good about what they're doing, right? And I broke down buy term invest the difference to this girl, and I was like, would you ever feel good about selling somebody a whole life policy now that you know how it works? Man, her jaw dropped, right? You got an R on your team? I showed Keenan, he's an R. Hey, let me show you something. I know it's not about just the money. You're an A and an R. Let me show you what we really do. Man, as soon as I did that, Keenan was all over the QA. All over the QA. So know what points to hit by knowing what personality they are, guys. Jay.
Just really fast, let me piggyback off of what you just said. And also you have to understand what your trait is. Like I'm an A. So if I'm dealing with an S, I have to be mindful of that, right? Gabrielle on our team, she's a super S. Jimmy Jam says she not, but I think you are, but it's all good. When Mama V is definitely an S. But when you're dealing with people like that, you have to regulate what your top two are to relate to them, because you don't want to run those type of people away. So that's important as well when you're on those appointments, knowing what they are and knowing what you are so you can come together and make it work. That's big. On a qualified appointment, use questions. Use the involvement questions already in the quadrant slides. So big. Do you own life insurance outside of your job? Own. And here's the thing, you all. A lot of the times, and I know you guys have gone through this, when you go through the presentation, most people don't even know what they have. They are clueless. Jen and I were talking about this last night when we were doing the training. A lot of people don't even know. They have no clue what they have. Do you own life insurance outside of your job? Own. That gets their wheels spinning. That gets them ticking. Because if you don't own it outside of your job, the first thing I'm thinking, right? Well, what if I leave my job? I don't have anything. I don't own it. Ask them. Use those questions. Do you know what kind it is? How it works? They have no idea. So guess what? Now we're opening them up. Now we have them thinking. Now we have them leaning forward because they want more information on what it is that they have. Would you agree, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, that it's very important to understand exactly what you have in the event that you die prematurely? Wouldn't you want your family to understand and know exactly what it is that they have? That's important. Jen?
Yep. So when you present, guys, throughout your presentation, I tell everyone a presentation is not just a presentation, it's a conversation, right? How many times have you had presentations that really struck you versus a conversation that stuck with you? Think about it. Your friends, right? You have conversations that stick with you all day long. and conversations you're really in tune with, right? Because it's a conversation. But you guys could be trading questions all day long. So when you give a presentation, make it a conversation, but make it compelling. Disturb the person with questions, stories, like I just shared. Like Shay shares about her mother, to create a sense of urgency for someone with no personal life insurance or very little life insurance. I had a couple very young, they're like in their mid 20s, and just kind of starting out their life. They were living in one of their parents' house or grandmother's house, and they were moving out. We went to go close, they were like, "Man, we want to think about it." It was the money, right? But they were wasting $600 a month, right? But then they hit me with, "We got to put down on a new apartment soon, this and that, da 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 da, because we want to get out of our grandmother's place." I said, "Wow, I understand how you feel. That's how I felt too before I started my personal plan." But what I found out was my expenses got a lot higher as I moved out of my mother's house. "Let me ask you, are you paying rent right now?" They go, "No." I go, "Okay. When you move out, will your expenses be lower or higher?" They go, "Higher." And I go, "Well, God forbid something happens to you as soon as you close on that apartment and your expenses are higher, how much more tight would that be? Could they keep the apartment? No, you would have to still go back to your grandmother, wouldn't you?" And the point of moving out is to make sure you stay moving forward and not backwards. Isn't that true? How can you do that when you don't prepare for that, right? And you start asking those questions based on their situation. They didn't have any life insurance. If they have none or little, they need someone to help them see their immediate need. Those are questions. You want to lead with questions, guys. A lot of people, they say statements so many times, but your questions have to build on each other, right? They got to build on each other. Such as, has anybody helped you calculate the amount of coverage you actually need? Okay, this is how we calculate it. Normally, people in the early days have young children, high debt, little to no money saved. You ask them their debt. You ask them their savings. The theory of decreasing responsibility. If you guys don't know this, you guys should go on, the drive or ask your RVP. This is a script that we use, right? But those questions that lead to the close, those are questions that build on each other. So once you learn those questions on an orderly basis, the right words in the right order, that's when they start seeing, wow. So Jam, you're saying that you and Donald have 3,000 saved, but 50,000 of debt, and your bills are $2,000 a month. Is that right? Jam says yes. How long would 3,000 last your family? Now all of a sudden it just got real. Whoa. Whoa, I really have nothing. Whoa. So can you see why you need coverage, a lot of coverage in the early years, right? Building on that so that you can lead them to the close, right, guys? So, Shay?
That's good, Jen. That's real good. That's all it is, asking those questions and lead to the close. Did y'all catch that? Ask the questions and you can lead them to the close because they're saying exactly what you want them to say and they're saying it. You're not saying it, they're saying it because of the questions that you're asking. On a qualified appointment, destroy the 5 mistakes of life insurance. This is it right here. I remember when Shaq first did this training, it was gold, treating life insurance as a luxury. A lot of people just hold it off. But we have cell phone insurance, we have health insurance, we have car insurance, we have, renters insurance, we have homeowners insurance. A lot of people treat it as if it's a luxury and not a necessity. We got to get people to understand that relying on group, right? People rely on group as if it's the end all be all. That is it. Not thinking, well, what if your boss fires you? What are you going to do? Right? You don't own it. There's an amendment in there. They can change it. They can switch it up. They can terminate it, right? They can change the coverage. They can change the insurance companies. They can change the type of insurance that it is. You have no control over it, yet you rely on your group. It doesn't have your name on it. You don't even have a contract, a policy. It's a certificate, right? Wouldn't it be smart to own your own life insurance policy and to be in control of what you have for your family in the event that you die prematurely, right? It makes sense. Cash value, the biggest ripoff ever. Man, listen, here's the thing about cash value. Mama V, I know you feel my pain on this. So me and Mama V has a client, well, would have been a client last night that's had a cash value policy for, I believe it's 15 years now. His premium is like $306 if I'm not mistaken, for only 75,000. Y'all listen to this, okay? Mama V quoted him 2 times his coverage, right? For almost $100 and something less than what he's investing on that stupid whole life policy. And we showed him how we can pull the cash value out, put it in a private investment. So he'll have more coverage and he'll have more money at the end of that 15-year term. He was so bogged down on the cash value and the whole life of it all, still not understanding that it is the biggest rip off ever. Listen, you all, when you compare apples to apples, when you go through that presentation, when you have the 100,000 on a 29-year-old, her premium is $90.48, right? The first 2 years, she has nothing in her cash value. Over 34 years, she's put in 36,000 towards her insurance and her investment. She has a total of 40. If people don't understand that this is a freaking rip off, it is a rip off. When you see that and it sinks in, you've got to know how to destroy it. I mean, destroy whole life. I had a whole life policy. I had $250,000, $200. Shaq gave me $500,000 for like $50 and showed me how to invest the difference and showed how we would have more over 35 years versus that. It was a no-brainer. Rip-off, biggest rip-off ever. Purchasing term from a cash value company. That's big as well. Right? Because a lot of these terrible term companies, they have a conversion clause within the contract. Talk about that. Let them know. They're a whole life company. They want you to convert to that whole life. And this is the reason why. They're going to keep your money and they're going to over premium you and you're going to be underinsured, not having enough. This when Shaq went over the numbers for myself, and at the time I was making $70,000, $80,000 a year on my good government job. When he broke that down and he asked me, how long would that last you, your family, if you were to pass away? It was like 3.5 years, you all. Think about that. 3.5 years, that 250,000 would have lasted. I did not have enough. So he showed me what I needed, and then he went off of what I can afford. Huge, because now I know what I need. I can work towards that, which is what I did. Right now, I have exactly what I need. But knowing that you're underinsured, versus not knowing, you pass away, now your family has to struggle. That's no bueno. Clients must see and understand what they have first. They got to see it. You got to make sure you get the policy. You got to make sure you destroy it. You got to make sure if you have to make a call to the company, call the company with them on three-way. Get the permission and ask the questions and let them tell it, right? Absolutely destroy it. If the policy is not available, do a three-way call with their insurance company to find out what they have and get a copy. This is big. Because you never want to just tell them without having their actual policy in front of you and them so you can go over what it is. Jen?
Yep. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Great. So let's break down group life insurance real quick. I love killing group. I mean, I love it. I love it when somebody says, I got group, and they're so excited to say something about it, right? Never, ever, like Jack says, depend on group life insurance. Never, because you don't own it. When you show the certificate and you say, hey, pretend this is your document, Jam, Donald, Mama V, Ian, Miss Caroline, Trishana, pretend this is your document through your job, and let's just pretend that you have a family attorney. And you take this certificate to this document to the family attorney, and you say, Mr. Smith, can you please review this document, because this is the only thing that I have, the only thing my family can depend on if God forbid something happens to me. So it's a really important document. So the attorney is going to say, well, Mama V, it's great that you have something, but through your job, through any job, in this case, the government, through Maryland, state of Maryland, you're not the policy owner. You're not the policy holder, which means if your employer owns that benefit on you and they wanted to change anything, guess what? You know, the client always says they can. Boom, amendment. Boom. Working, you gotta, what qualifies for active work, right? Boom, termination. And then you play the video. This is really important, guys. For those of you guys who are up and coming trainers, or even trainers that forgot about it, you always gotta play the video. Never, ever, ever skip the video. You gotta get the video on, because that lady on the video that lost her husband and got a disabled son, she says, you don't have to say it. She says, if they did it to me, they'll do it to you. You don't got to say it. Let her say it. Let somebody else say it. For some reason, people see things on the news. It's always true. But when you try to say them, they don't believe it, right? Let them get their reaction out. And once they get the reaction out, The video's done. That's crazy, isn't it, Mama V? Yeah, the only thing that your attorney is going to say is, listen, the moral of the story is don't ever solely depend on your life insurance through your job. Because when it comes to your family, how much risk do you want to take? And sometimes if I feel like they're really gung ho about their group, I'll ask a question. I'll say, hey, because when things are really cheap, what happens to the quality? And they always say, oh man, the quality's not there. There's a lot of loopholes. They said it, not me, right? So that's group insurance. I love killing group. Funny banking is when you're killing cash value. When you go through bank A, bank B, and they answer the right way. Listen, if they're not answering the right way, you are with the wrong client. You may not want that person as a client, but listen, bank A, bank B, everyone should be picking bank A. Okay, as long as you're asking it directly. Once they figure out, no, I want my money to go to my family still. I don't want the bank to keep it. Yeah, right. So is there any way you would ever knowingly put your money into an account that works like bank B? No. But if you found out you were unknowingly putting your money into an account there, how would that make you feel? And what would you do about it? Sometimes I go even deeper and say, if you found out, if you were putting your money in there unknowingly, how soon would you want to get out of it? How soon would you want to make a change? And since you've never read your policy, how soon would you want to find out if this is something you have? Immediately. Okay, let's call your company. Okay, grab your policy. Okay, this or that, right? Because now they just said, I want to find it immediately. How are you going to tell me otherwise, Shay?
Hold on, I gotta jot that question down right quick. That was good. Hey, Jam, Donald, Mama V, Gabrielle, Michelle, jot that question. How soon would you want to get out of it? Okay, let's call your whole life company right now. That's good. That's gold right there. No. You just said it. We about to get out of this right now. I'm about to get an app. That's real good, Jen. Thank you for that. Never give a quote without a reasonably firm commitment to do business with you first. Do not give quotes if you don't have time to close. This is big. I've made this mistake over and over and over again, right? We give a quote thinking that our quote is better, right? Without a commitment or without knowing what they have. If they say they don't know what their premium is, we don't want to show our hand. We don't want to show all of our cards right then and there. We want to wait till we get what they have first. And we want to make sure that they're committed to moving forward. They're going to write the check, right? Shaq always say, write the check. That's important because guess what? We're going to do all this work. We're going to give all this energy to make sure you understand what it is, and then you don't move forward. That burns me, right? How we get compensated is when they apply for life insurance and they keep the daggone policy. Do not do that. Do not give the quotes if you don't have time to close. Schedule a carryback. You don't want to rush through this. You want them to understand what it is. You want them to understand why they need this coverage. And you also want to go over how much they need and why they need it. That's very important. Jen?
Last but not least, handling concerns, because you can't move forward with an app until you get all their questions answered, right? That's why during the referral process, I always ask, did you feel like we answered all your questions regardless of whether or not you asked them? Because people got questions, they just don't ask them all the time. Haven't you guys figured that out? So when somebody has a concern, and Shay said with the star personality, you got to understand your own star too, which is so important. I totally forgot to mention that because I understand I'm an A first and an S second. All of my teammates on here, they're like, huh, you're an S. No. I got to be an S because of y'all. I got to be an S because I got to make sure everything else is organized with everyone because so many people are not as organized, right? But sometimes, I could be an ASS, but, just joking. But A personalities, they don't like to sit back and listen. I had to learn how to do that. And when people are expressing their objections to you, their concerns, they just want people to listen. At times of concerns or objection, you got to sit back, wait. Ask yourself, wait, why am I talking? Wait, why am I talking? Stop talking. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Just listen to what really is going on. Because sometimes whatever they say, they just want to get it out there. They just want somebody to listen to them. It's not even you. I used to take it personally because usually, us A's, we're ready to fight at any time. So we're ready to jump back at somebody anytime. But we had to learn how to wait. So when I had a lady, she was a referral, and she used to want to be licensed with us in the 90s or something like that. And whoever trained her, back in the 90s, which I was just born at that time, so I didn't know who that person was. Then she said whoever, the next person who did her life application put it on the wrong draft date. So it had nothing to do with the company. It was just everything to do with the person dealing with her, right? So she was like, I would never, ever, ever deal with Primerica ever again. And I just asked her, if you don't mind me asking why, because I just, I don't really, I wasn't obviously there, so I couldn't really, fix it for you. I was just born in the 90s. And I got on the phone with her and I was like, hey, would you mind telling me what happened? Because this is a company I represent. I just don't feel good representing a company that really made somebody feel that way. And she started talking. She agreed to meet with me. She goes, but I'm not buying anything. I go, that's fine. I just want you to be comfortable and maybe I can change your mind. I don't know. But if you don't, there's no obligation. We met and throughout the whole presentation, I went through the whole presentation. This lady still told me the same exact concerns on the phone that I thought I already overcame. But all she wanted to do was put it out there again. And all I did was sit back and listen. And I said, listen, like I mentioned, I repeated everything I said to her. I really apologize on behalf of the person dealing with you. And I just went through my whole personal rapport because she's an R, shared her personal stories. She goes, you know what, you're really genuine. You know what, I'll give you a shot. And she did an app, $40 right on the spot. How can you turn somebody, into a client after they've had somewhat of a negative experience with another representative years ago, right? You just got to sit back, listen, and really see what's the issue at hand. It's not the company, it's just the person they were dealing with, or whatever they miscommunicated that person, but you got to be on their side, right? Hear them out, seek first to understand. I understood the frustration she had. You got to release pressure, right? That's fine. I totally understand. And there's no final decision to be made right now. That's what I said to her on the phone. Listen, Mama V, that's completely fine. You don't want to do business. You're not cutting your check. That's completely fine. I completely understand. There's no obligation. There's no final decision to be made. If you like me enough to invite me back, I definitely would be, grateful for it. But I know there's a chance you may not do business. That's fine, right? No obligation. Your main objections that you're gonna get are I want to talk about it first. We want to talk about it first with each other. Not sure we can afford it and shop around, which you guys can obviously get from a different training we've done. But any questions, guys? Jay, anything to add?
No questions.
No
Wow.
question.
Gabby, I know you got a question. OS self. I know you got a question. I like that ASS. That was funny.
Yeah.
I could be an ASS too. I like that. That was funny. No questions, y'all. All right, y'all. Well, it's month end. We know what we got to do, right? We got to book out the next 3 days. Most importantly, today, tomorrow, and Monday. This is the mark of a champion right here. What are you going to do in the last 2 minutes? Right? The beginning of the month doesn't matter. It's all about the end of the month. Are you going to have that Mamba mentality and just go crazy? Lift every rock, call every client, follow up, carry backs, recruits, whatever it is. This is the time right now, right? People want to follow people who hit the board, period. Winners, champions, closers, right? Shaq always says it's month end. We are intense. Don't take it personal. That's just what it is. This is our lives. This is what we do, right? It's month end. We go in, we go hard. What can you get? We don't want stories. Is can you get it or you can't, right? Shaq always say, what can you get? He don't want the stories. He just want the numbers. That's it. How does it look? That means what are the numbers? What are you gonna get? He don't want no daggone. Well, what happened was so Tom get it. No. What can you get? That's what it is. It's month end. We got 3 days. We got till midnight Monday going into Tuesday. Let's make it happen, y'all. Let's make a statement. God bless. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Talk to you guys later. Blitz at 11 o'clock. Got 11 minutes. Bye-bye.